I have Reverend Lisa's problem today. I have a little cat on my lap. You can just see her ears there. And it's challenging. Could I put it down? Yes, but I really don't want to do. So we're going to see how this goes. Welcome to another reading from the Science of Mind magazine, The Daily Guides. And as I've mentioned a couple of times already, maybe every time, the readings this month are written by Reverend Dr. Jesse Jennings, my senior minister. And he is recognized as an expert on Ernest Holmes. Ernest Holmes was the person who was responsible for founding what is now called Science of Mind or religious science. So here we go. I'm just going to get straight into it because when you've got a pet involved, you never know what's going to happen. This little lady, she's very bright, but she's also very insistent. She's been that way since she was a little tiny kitten that was brought to us. We had to feed her with a dropper. And now she just eats a lot. Today's reading is called Patieny Expectancy. The first quote is from someone you all know, Oprah Winfrey, who says, "You can have it all. You just can't have it all at once. You can have it all, but you just can't have it all at once." And this is Ernest Holmes from the Science of Mind magazine, from almost 100 years ago, November 1932. He says, "In visualization, our thought creates a mental picture of a desire and presents that image to mind with the full expectancy that its accomplishment is now a fact. Meanwhile, we should patiently and expectantly wait for the law of evolution or unfoldment to bring the object of this visualization into our experience." He goes on to say, "We should always remember that the law need not be coerced. It needs to be recognized and consciously used. It takes the direction of our thought and itself finds the way, the methods, and the means of manifestation. Thus, it has been written that it is not by personal power nor might, but by spirit." And as I said, that's from the Science of Mind magazine of November 1932. And this is Reverend Dr. Jesse Jennings commenting on this. He says, "Few of us enjoy waiting. True. The advice to have patience while time ticks does not help, especially when we're unclear about precisely what it is we're supposed to expect. Yet, most manifestations aren't instantaneous because they overlap with the choices of others. All must become ready for their role. The law need not be coerced," Holmes says. And let's add to that, neither do people need to be. For instance, the right job is now forming in mind, soon to appear in dimensionality, i.e. in existence. If one place isn't hiring, somewhere else is. If one situation isn't a fit, that's an invitation to move on to what perfectly suits us. Seeking a new home? Unless it's being built from the ground up, somebody else is currently living in it or has a claim on it. Either way, it takes time, as the world measures it. Our work is in mind, conceiving of it as already done. Then the law takes it from there." This is another way of explaining what Jesus said. Jesus said, "It is done unto you as you believe." Belief is thought plus feeling. So it's done unto you as you believe, and belief is thought plus feeling. That's really summing up what they're saying here. We know for a fact that lots and lots of people use visualization. They imagine the thing coming about. The mistake that we often make is twofold, is expecting it right now when we don't know how long it's going to take to manifest, and also, strange as it may seem, expecting exactly what it is that we're manifesting. I mean, exactly. And that's what Reverend Jesse's talking about here when he talks about seeking a new home. Unless it's been built from the ground up, somebody else is currently living in it or has a claim to it. Hold on one second. Well, the past has gone. So in other words, when we visualize, we have to believe that we're going to get what we visualize, but we have to balance things out. It's that simple. We have to balance things out. In other words, we need to give the divine spirit, the divine essence. Holmes often calls it the law, the mind of God, if you like. We have to give it enough to work on. So if you just vaguely say, I want a new home, then anything can happen. But you have to have in mind some idea of the kind of home that you want. What Reverend Jesse's cautioning is that when you say, I want that particular house on that particular street and nothing else, because as he points out, somebody else is probably living there unless it's actually being built. But even if it's being built from the ground up, it may not be the perfect home for you. Now, if we believe, as in our way of thinking, we do believe that the divine has got a much bigger picture of everything than we do, then if we leave enough wiggle room in there for the divine to produce what's exactly right for us, then we're going to get something way better than if we try to imagine something exactly as we want. So the answer is that when we do our spiritual mind treatments, or when we do our affirmations, that we either add in or know in our minds that we're adding in this or something better. And if we do that, then we will get this or something better. You know, people often think they want a particular partner in life, and that's it, nobody else. And sometimes through visualization and so on, they do get that perfect partner, quote unquote, but it turns out not to be the perfect partner because they're not suited to each other. Somebody actually may get that particular house, but it may turn out that that is not exactly the right house for them for a multitude of reasons. So we have to be purposeful in our visualization, but we have to leave enough scope for spirit to figure out what is best for us and for everybody else, because we're not living in a one-person universe, are we? We're living in a multi-person universe. On this planet alone, we got, 13.5 billion people. And God knows in the whole universe. So we have to leave enough wiggle room. The affirmation is, there is an invisible chorus responding through everything in nature and every person I meet. There is an invisible chorus responding through everything in nature and every person I meet. In other words, everything in some way, shape, or form comes together to provide to us what is best and perfect for each of us. That's it. It really doesn't need much more explanation. And always remember, belief is thought plus feeling, and this or something better. And if you do that, you're going to do okay. Reverend Lisa will be on tomorrow morning at 9:30. If you missed our service today, then it's going to be on YouTube and Facebook, and you can watch it. But I have to warn you, at the beginning, there was an issue with the sound for about the first 10 minutes or so. There was an issue. because we're putting on a Halloween production, which will be the last Saturday in the month. But when the people are rehearsing, they have to move stuff around. So apparently, when they move some of our Sunday morning equipment around, occasionally it disturbs connections and we get little or no sound sometimes. But we did fix it, which is always good. And I do apologize on behalf of Creative Life Spiritual Center if you watched it and the sound was not all that good, or if you're going to watch it and the sound doesn't seem all that good, but about 10 minutes into it, the sound becomes pretty good again. Tomorrow is the Bible study class continuation. If you want to look at the Bible through a new thought perspective, that's wonderful. info@creativelife.org. And then on Tuesday, we have another class coming up. It's starting for 6 weeks called The Mycelium of the Mind. A mycelium is actually a web, like a tangled web that comes out with a fungus. So in other words, the idea is that our mind has got all these tentacles going out. But what it is, it's about relationships between ourselves and the divine. So if that appeals to you, that's on Tuesday. It starts, I believe, at 7 o'clock Central Time, and it goes on until 8:30 Central Time. For both of those, if you send an email to info@creativelife.org, you can inquire more about it, or you can sign up for them. So that's it for today. Until tomorrow, namaste.